Welcome back once again here on the Roundtable, joined by Toledo Mayor-elect Mike Collins. Just days away from inauguration. The trepidation building inside you?
Well, after I get past this moving houses and the holidays, I think life will become
family
a
and
little,
guests
family
and all that.
And guests. I think my life will go back to a little bit more normal, but I'm sure it's going to be an exciting experience.
Yeah, you know, I found it funny, some of the articles that came out talking about you and Mayor Bell when the campaign was still going on, talking about technology and Facebook and Twitter and whether or not you had accounts. I want to let people know I have handed the mayor-elect an iPad. This may be dangerous, but anyway, I want to take that, Mayor-elect Collins, I want to do this. I want you to take a look. We have put up, and if we can take that full and just show people, simply he is looking at a map of Toledo. Right. And I want you to go north, south, east, west and point out for folks, when you look at these areas of the Glass City, and you think of one specific target that comes to mind. Let's start with North Toledo. What's the target?
When I look at North Toledo, number one is we have to go over there, and we have to, and this is true in Central City as well. Mm-hmm. You can't have a safe city if you don't have a clean city, a blight-free city. So we're going to engage in a very different way of handling this issue. We're going to take the 8 police sectors. We're going to take 1 police officer, a community resource officer, and that person will be in charge of the block watches and all of the other things in the assemblages. A nuisance inspector and a code inspector, and they're going to be, that's their beat. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be charged with the responsibility of cleaning that up. So that's
almost from a police mentality,
right?
Giving them a beat.
Well, it's hard to separate the zebra and the stripes, and so. But I know that a community that is riddled with blight is a community that will not be safe.
Talk west.
Okay, West Toledo. Now, if we're talking over there, I think we've got some dynamic opportunities for economic development and retooling ourselves in some of the foundations of industry here, mainly the auto industry. Mm-hmm. We have some things that could conceivably take place over there. And then over at the LG plant, it's going to be a very stimulating circumstance.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk east.
East Toledo. That is absolutely going to be a concentration on, because East Toledo has a dire need of bringing landlords into a responsible position for their property. And we are going, the 05, that's their zip code, that is no longer going to be the stepchild of the city of Toledo. I will tell you right now. Mm-hmm. I promised them when I was out there, and I am going to hold myself to that promise and the employees of the city. We are going to clean up East Toledo, and Main Street can be a real Main Street if we apply the right things to it.
Does that weigh a lot on what happens with the Marina District?
The Marina District, I hope to, shortly after I take office, engage in real conversations with Dashing Pacific. I'm not going to China, by the way. Yeah. But I want to engage with them. I want to know, what are their schedules? What can we as a city do to...
There was a lot of talk about they don't need to tell us that because they've got a window. The window is still open at this point. But do you feel differently? Do you feel, yes, I want updates on where things stand?
Absolutely. We have $43 million invested in that property, $43 million of taxpayer dollars. Now, that's what it took to purchase property and remediate. So this isn't something that I take lightly. Mm-hmm. We sold it for 3.8. Now, we sold it with the conditions that it was going to improve the city of Toledo, both aesthetically and economically. Now, they can talk about, well, they're paying taxes on it now and the wind's not blowing through the weeds anymore without monies going to the county and to the public school system. I understand that. I understand that very clearly. Mm-hmm. But by the same token, that is a dynamic that we cannot sit by and watch. So I'm enthusiastic. I want to have real meaningful discussions with the principals of Dashing Pacific, but I want it to be very clear to them that we're going to need some information about schedules, what we can expect, because they will have had the property 3 years in the spring. There's 2 more years pending on what holds in the contract for the purchase. And if they're not going to move on it, then I think what we need to do is we need to notify that we are going to take the position of recovering the property.
We've got a few minutes left, and obviously I saved South for last because
Right.
of the district you've represented for 6 years.
Right.
What is the target?
The target has to be Southwick. Southwick is the most important piece of economic development in this city. We lose the 14 zip code, we lose South Toledo, we will have lost our city because frankly that is the economic engine of the city. Now I've been in contact with the owners of Southwick, the principal owner, MD Properties. It's really in a bad management set of circumstances in terms of the owners.
Now, you've talked to them as councilmen
Right.
in the past, at length,
Correct.
exhaustingly, right?
Numerous times.
And now you're calling them as mayor. Does that change the game?
Well, we don't own it
Right.
to begin with.
Okay.
However, now that it's marketed, believe me, I believe with our new director, I think Matt Sapera will be linked to them immediately.
Is that his main focus that you
That's
want?
one of his many focuses.
Okay.
We hit a home run with him. I mean, you know, I think we've got a very, very strong cabinet. But that'll be one of Matt's major responsibilities, is network with Southwick and the owners of Southwick and figure out where we're going to move, because we have to see that property move.
And right now you are not happy with where things sit or where they have gone for the last 4 years.
No, and you know, understanding, of course, that the economy was such and there was no investment. Is it ever going to return to a mall? Probably not. But are there other options that it could be consistent with? Because one must remember, we have Maumee Valley Country Day right down the street, and they have a huge, huge investment in that area. So let's make it move.
We've got 1 minute left. Your health and your relaxation, and will there be much golf played during your time in office?
Well, I haven't swung a golf club for about 2 years now with any regularity, and my swing looks like it too. It looks like a broken noodle coming down.
Yeah. But are you feeling good?
Oh, I'm feeling fine. I mean, I'm feeling very well. I mean, it's, you know, I'm not losing sleep. I'm not getting any. I'm not tired, and my energy level, like my wife said when we started going door to door, oh, can he handle this? And she said, plan on no lunches because he'll handle a lot more than you will. And she was pretty accurate.
Mayor-elect Mike Collins, Happy New Year to you. Thank you
Happy New
so
Year,
much
Jeff.
for joining us here for a few. I know it's only a half an hour, but it gives you a little more time than a soundbite.
There you go.
Right.
And, you know, into the community. My thoughts and prayers are with everybody for this 2014. But I hope you reciprocate too, because I'm going to need your help. I'm going to need every aspect of our community to come forward, because the greatest thing that can happen to Toledo in 2014 is we make Toledo what Toledo needs to be.
Well said. Thank you so much. Stay right there. We'll wrap it up right after this.